everyone, welcome to another episode of Talks Comics from My Comic Universe.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. I'm Brandon.
I'm your other host, Brian.
And today's episode is all about Silver Surfer Black. This is a 5-issue miniseries by Donny Cates, Tradd Moore, and Dave Stewart.
So, Brandon, we're going to go through the story with our audience. We're going to talk about our opinions. And then lastly, we are going to talk about some connected work from author Donny Cates.
Yeah,
There's some really good series.
It's going to be a great episode, so make sure you stick around for the whole thing.
Exactly.
And make sure you subscribe to our channel by hitting that little subscribe button in the bottom corner so you can make sure you stay up to date on all of our upcoming videos. And make sure you check out our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, for all of our upcoming content and additional stuff. Silver Surfer Black is a 5-issue mini-series written by Donny Cates, inked and penciling by Tradd Moore, and coloring by Dave Stewart. Issue 1 starts off after Thanos was killed and the cosmos' greatest warriors gather to attend a hearing of his will. Then they are attacked by Thanos' Black Order. The Black Order fires Silver Surfer, the Guardians of the Galaxy, and Beta Ray Bill into a dimensional rift, where Beta Ray Bill and the Guardians seem to be lost, but we'll find out what happens to them in the new Guardians of the Galaxy series. It seems the Silver Surfer is lost in time for years, just drifting into the abyss, when he then crashes onto a decaying planet billions of years in the past, where he is attacked by guards, the world's 3 centuries. Silver Surfer began to be consumed by the darkness that infected the planet, but he then uses his power cosmic to birth an infant star, bringing light to the planet that was once consumed by darkness. However, this comes at a price. His hand is fully consumed by darkness and is drained of the power cosmic. As the guards that are attacking him lie sleeping, he approaches the gate and is pulled into the blackness. The last page of this issue shows Null grabbing Silver Surfer by the throat saying, "I am Null, you may call me God." Issue 2 starts off with Silver Surfer remembering bits of his past with Galactus. Then it brings us back to the dawn of time where he's fighting Null, the god of symbiotes. As he is fighting with Null, he begins to be fully consumed by a symbiote. Then he screams out, "Herald!" and all of a sudden the Silver Surfer is free from this darkness, and a mysterious voice begins to guide him away from Null. The voice mentions the Silver Surfer's name Norrin Radd, which sparks Norrin to begin remembering his past. As Null continues to come after Norrin and attack him, Norrin creates another star with his cosmic power to escape, only now his entire left arm is consumed by the darkness. As the voice guides him away from Null, it leads him to a new planet, the living planet Ego. So issue 3 starts off with Norrin remembering more of his past. But these are actually just nightmares of him before he was the Silver Surfer, and in his nightmares, he's the one that's attacking his home planet, only he's fully consumed by the darkness. He then wakes up back on Ego. He wants to have Ego become an ally of his in fighting Null. However, something is wrong with Ego. Silver Surfer then offers to help Ego, but he has to go to Ego's core to do so. Ego tries to warn him that he would not survive if he goes to his core. However, the Silver Surfer wants to help it because he needs Ego to become an ally of his in his fight against Null. As he approaches the core, he begins to be attacked by Ego's antibodies. However, once he makes it to the core, he finds a cosmic incubator for Galactus.
As the story continues, in issue number 4, the Surfer dislodges the cosmic incubator of Galactus. Norrin dislodges the incubator and believes that the only way to stop Galactus is to end it all. Knowing the impending evil Null is on his way, Norrin plans to destroy the incubator in a white dwarf star known as the Helios Ra. Just before Norrin throws the incubator in the Helios Ra, the Watcher arrives to stop Norrin from killing the unborn Galactus. He explains that even if Norrin destroys the incubator, he is still bound by the Devourer of Worlds, that his hands would not be less bloody from his actions, and is destined to be the Herald. Using his cosmic powers, Norrin reaches into the mind of Gallon. There he is confronted by Gallon. Gallon does not know he will one day become the Destroyer of Worlds. Confronted with this knowledge, Gallon agrees that he is destined to become the Destroyer. Norrin returns to Ego, requesting that he give him enough power needed to end Null and his dragon. Ego reaches across the cosmos to every living force to draw enough power to end Null. In the conclusion of issue number 5 of our story, Norrin stands with enough strength to take on Null. Norrin uses his new cosmic abilities and the power Ego supplied him and creates a sword of light to fight Null. In the process of almost destroying himself and the universe, being consumed by all the darkness, Norrin forges his life into galactic seeds, recreating the universe, only to be reborn in the darkness. What did you think of this story overall? What did you like?
Now, this is one thing I liked about it is that this is a very quick read. This is only 5 issues, and it's very easy to get through. Once you're done with one issue, you want to pick up the next issue. It's something that makes you want to keep reading it, and it really captures you into the story. What are some things that you liked about it?
Well, there's a few points I do want to make that I liked about it. But first off, I want to say I really love the art. That's the first thing I want to say. It's very intriguing. It's very captivating. It catches the eye. And that was one major thing that drew me in.
The art is one of the main things that stood out to me in this whole series.
Great.
Like, the art is so cool. It's very psychedelic, and it really like captures the whole mood of the whole story.
Right.
So like every issue, like the art seems to be getting a little bit more crazy, a little bit more psychedelic, and
I can agree with that.
Yeah, so like as the story's getting more intense, the art's also getting more intense.
Right.
So I really like the art in it. Like the combo of Tradd Moore and Dave Stewart doing the inking and the coloring worked out very well.
It adds a good pacing to the read, definitely. I can agree that the art carries the story very well, and it has a lot of reflective surfaces between our characters, which I really like too.
Something that the Watchers, one of the main points of the Watchers is that they only observe and that they don't interfere. So the fact that he interfered with him trying to destroy Galactus, is a big deal. So that's basically it.
The number one thing I really like is it's also got some of our great, famous characters from the Marvel's comic book universe.
Yeah, we got Galactus, we got the Watcher.
We got the Watcher.
And then one of the coolest things, Null.
Oh, we can't leave out Ego. Ego's also a
cool
Ego,
character. Of course, yeah. So Ego's definitely a great part of this series. But then one of the other things that I really like about this series is how Donny Cates is writing these different series, and they're all starting to connect together.
Right. That is very important. That was another point I also wanted to make about what I liked about it is Donny Cates throws in his own type of struggling characters. He does this in a lot of his writing, where a lot of his characters seem to struggle with their pasts or their past lives.
Yeah.
And it comes forward every time he writes a character, and it's just very fascinating because there's always these it always leads up to a straightforward confrontation between a protagonist and an antagonist, and I like that in his stories. He carries it very well, and with Tradd Moore and Dave Stewart doing the art, which Dave also works on the Black Hammer series as well.
Nice.
Which is kind of cool. But I really like the way that it transfers here in this story about the Silver Surfer, the Herald of Galactus.
Yeah. And kind of going back to how everything connects, one of the cool things is that with Null, that's from the Venom series that Donny Cates had written or is still writing.
He's still writing on that.
But that was introduced when Donny Cates first got on that series.
Mm-hmm.
And I like how he's starting to now tie into these other stories that he's writing, and then he's going to be writing the new Guardians of the Galaxy series, and that ties into this slightly.
Exactly.
So I like how all of this stuff is really connecting. So if that's something that really interests you, then I think you would really like this story.
And then more recently, Donny Cates was talking about he's going to start writing on Thor, and he's starting his story about Thor, which is really cool because even in this storyline, he references the Black Winter within the storyline. So he's already setting things up for future series and for the future of a really strong, prominent Marvel character in Thor.
Yeah, and I don't want to spoil anything from Thor #1, but there's definitely a connection to this story.
Excellent. That's awesome. Yeah, I think that really adds to Donny Cates as a writer. I mean, overall, you know how I am about Cates. I like his work.
Yeah, he's a great writer.
Great writer, God Country, Buzzkill,
yeah.
Redneck.
So many great stories.
Oh, so many great stories. So we could put some links down below, so if you're looking to read any of those series.
Yeah, we'll put some links to Amazon so you can grab some of those graphic novels.
Now, speaking of graphic novels, we do want to end off our episode and talk a little bit about some of these other graphic novels that Donny Cates has available. Guardians of the Galaxy you mentioned.
It's going to be written by Donny Cates, and we'll have some sort of connection to this, because as we talked about in the beginning of this series, the Guardians of the Galaxy are part of it, but then they get lost, and then we will find out what happens to them, you know, in that new series. So that's going to be really exciting. Can't wait for that.
Exactly. And then there's a couple of Donny Cates Marvel stories worth checking out. He did run on Doctor Strange. He did his Thanos run. And of course,
Venom, yeah.
Yeah, and then of course we mentioned Venom as well, which we would also recommend here at Tux Comics.
Yeah, so you don't really need to read those to understand this story, but you'll get a lot more background into it. You'll know a little bit more about Null. You'll know what happened to Thanos.
We want to thank everybody for joining us. I think that covers our episode today. We went over the story with you guys. We talked about our opinion. And of course, check out those links below. There's some great graphic novels for you to catch up on all the Donny Cates reading.
Yeah, and then you're definitely going to want to pick up this Silver Surfer Black story. There's all 5 issues individually, or the trade paperback is released. And there's also a director's cut. So we'll be posting links to all of that stuff for you guys.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, as we always say, subscribe to our YouTube.
Hit that little subscribe button. Make sure you stay up to date on all of our videos.
And we'll see you next time.
See you guys.
Thank you.